to make sense for our elected officials, and it was Scott Alexander and the council, save for Ryan Webb, and the Cowboy Kid commissioners and their little sleepy sister, who decided to not do anything and to not help this in any way. Councilor Webb was trying to come to the table and saying, let's do this, let's push the envelope, let's see what we can do, let's sit down and crunch the numbers. How can we utilize ARP? Can we utilize ARP? Can we do this? Can we do that? And they kept saying, crickets, crickets, nothing, nothing, nothing was said. Or they would say no. Or they would say, sit down, you sit at the kiddie table, Ryan Webb, you're not one of us. They wouldn't answer me. It's just Kristopher Bilbrey. Screw him. We won't have to answer to him. You know? Yeah, they've got to answer to me. And if they don't, they will answer to us, the bosses of the elected officials, the public, we the people. Okay? And they need to know that. And so what's interesting to this here is they would not hear this when Councilor Webb was saying this, and when there were those of us out there asking for this, and when Tony was out there. Now what we see is Daleville doing just that. And it wasn't listed in the headline of the article. Matter of fact, they only talk about it in this one brief little section. It's very interesting. Very interesting to me how they do it. The town plans to spend $200,000 of the $384,000 in ARP funding on solar projects. The remainder of the federal money, which is $184,000, will go for salary raises for the town's 9 employees, Jones said. The raises will be $2,000 to $3,000 per employee. Jones said the town wanted to use the ARP funding wisely and use it on a project that would continue to contribute to the town rather than just cover a one-shot expense. He said the work installing the solar panels should be completed by the end of the summer. In the future, the town plans to install solar at the Daleville Splash Park and pad to Splash Park splash pad and cover electric costs there as well. Roberts said the bid opening should take place by the end of March. Stay informed and support local journalism, blah, 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 blah. That's that, okay? I'm going to share this article in the paper, in the comments here. Now, I want to, before we get off this topic, I want to read to you Ryan Webb's, yes it is, it very, very much is, and it's going to continue being. It's very interesting. It'll be interesting to me to see the company that does the work, you know, who that would be. Would it happen to be Invenergy from the Gaston area? That would be interesting if that was the case. It would just be interesting to see, you know, how in bed everybody seems to be. But I want to read to you the statement from Councilor Webb because I think it's interesting, and I agree. Ryan says the following. These are his words. Now that the feds have relaxed the restriction on how ARP dollars can be spent, I would like our Delaware County Commissioners to allocate some of the ARP money and install solar panels on the roof and on the large former football field at the new Delaware County Justice Center and Rehabilitation Center. Ah, good thinking, Ryan. Good thinking. Part of my 13 points of focus included solar projects on county-owned property. The new Justice Center has monthly electric bill of tens of thousands of dollars, and Delaware County could reduce that monthly bill indefinitely and reduce our carbon footprint if we installed solar panels on the roof and the football field next door. We have a chance to utilize this federal money to help all citizens of Delaware County, and this would be a tremendous benefit to taxpayers. Well said, Ryan. Also, now that it has been suggested that you can actually give pay increases using ARP money, something that Ryan has been saying all along with other people, I would like the commissioners to set aside several $100,000 so we can give our public safety employees the pay that they deserve. that would make their salaries comparable to other communities of similar sizes and population. They deserve more than crumbs that we can get, and we can give them that to them. Now that the federal guidelines on how to spend the ARP money has been redefined, I am calling on our county commissioners to completely reevaluate their ARP plan and consider projects that previously were believed to not be eligible. This money is a gift, and we cannot waste this opportunity. We have to get it right. And then he tagged James King, Shannon Henry, Sherry Riggin, Tony Skinner, Scott Alexander, Jessica Piper, Ryan Ballard, Mary Chambers, Jane Lassiter, Tony Skinner, and Jeff Stanley. So he tagged those members that have social media. And then James King, Shannon Henry, Scott Alexander, Jessica Piper, and Ryan Ballard untagged themselves from this. They did not comment, to my recollection, to my knowledge, not my recollection, to my knowledge, they haven't said anything to Ryan. I don't know if anyone's reached out. He just made this post 13 hours ago, 12 hours ago. So, I don't know if anyone's said anything or not. I would assume they haven't. The point here is, and I'm going to go back to what Brenda said up earlier in the comments. I don't know how this could necessarily be utilized for quote-unquote salaries, because when ARP is gone, I don't know how you would sustain those salaries. However, something that could happen is you could use ARP to pay other county things down. You could pay other aspects of county bills and debt down to where money could be reallocated to pay employees. The point of the matter is, Ryan is doing what elected officials should be doing. They are seeing a problem. They are seeing kind of a fix out here. And he's not saying, well, we should do X, Y, and Z, and this is it. He's saying, let's look at what we've got going. Let's look at the new restrictions. Let's look at what's been taken out of the restrictions. Let's look at the new guidelines, and let's just simply reevaluate our plans. Let's not forget that he's also saying, let's take some of this and do the same thing that Daleville's doing. Everyone thinks it's a wonderful idea in Daleville to put solar panels on the building and in the wastewater treatment plant and next to the next to the splash pad. Why would that not then be a wonderful idea for the Delaware County Jail, the football field that is not being utilized, and other places around the city or county where city and county own property, that wouldn't be a hindrance to citizens and would be allowed, we would be allowed to do what Daleville is doing. I think that is a wonderful idea, and I think that Ryan has the right idea here. What's going to be absolutely disgusting is that none of these folks are going to do anything about this. None of them are going to reach out to him. None of them are going to say anything to him about it. Hell, 4 of them, 5 of them said, peace out. We don't even want to be tagged in this mess. Don't ask us. We don't want to be associated with this. Ridiculous. Ryan Ballard, Jessica Piper, Scott Alexander, Shannon Henry, James King. Shame on you guys. Shame on you for doing this. Shame on you for removing this and not being a part of this discussion. Because what's funny is, then, as always does, you get the folks that come into the comments that are, you get someone that's like pro James King, and it's like, wait a minute, James King is an elected official. James King is a candidate. Can't James King talk for himself? I would like to hear what James King has to say, because I know what he's saying about the sheriff's department. I know what he's saying about the pay increases. I know that he's running around telling people that I sat on the county council and I did this with the budget, and I looked at the budget, and I didn't throw anybody in the trick bag. I didn't get thrown under the magic bus saying all the King, the phrases that King says. I knew the answer before anybody else did. I don't ask questions I don't know the answers to. I knew the things before you even asked me. He just does all those random, kind of like backwoods hick cop type of things where he's saying things that I think he feels that cops should say, and it's very tiresome. He's kind of like Woody, pull your string. You pull King's string, and he says, "I didn't get thrown under the trick bag." You pull a string, "I didn't get thrown under the magic bus." You pull a string, and he says, "I was county council."